last thing that I'm introducing to you that's new. So this is the last thing for this unit. This is the last thing that you will be given an assessment for. Okay? So, stat 8.5. The binomial. I know it looks almost the same written I wrote it before, but it's a little bit different. It's the binomial distribution. Now, notice I didn't call it a distribution function. This is just the binomial distribution. So, first off, what does it mean to be another review? To be a binomial distribution, okay, it needs to have binary outcomes, okay? It needs to be independent outcomes. It needs to have a number of fixed trials, which is known as n, and it must have the same probability each trial. Which is our P. Okay? Now, independent also comes with the word or random sample. So sometimes we'll do a random sample, which is another way of it being independent. So this is what it is. Now, the reason I wrote it like this is because this is actually a mnemonic device, B-I-N-S. To be binary, bins. Binary, or to be binomial. Binary, which means two outcomes, binary. Independent, number of fixed trials, N, and same probability, S, okay, which is your N. So bins, that's how we know it in the business, bins. If this is the case, we can find a mean. Who remembers what the mean is? What does it mean? What does the mean? What is a mean? So the mean is the expected average outcome in the long run. What do we expect to get on average if we continue doing this? If we keep doing this over and over and over again, what's the average going to be? How much money am I going to make? If I keep buying a scratcher every single day, how much am I going to get on average? If I keep playing blackjack for the rest of my life, 1,000,000 hands, how much will I win on average? Or how much will I make on average? This is the mean. The mean, so if x is binomial, okay, so this is just saying x is binomial with, wrong symbol. X is binomial where we have n and p, okay? This means, all this symbol means here is that it follows the distribution. So what this is saying is that x follows the binomial distribution, okay? We use that little squiggly line saying that x follows that distribution. We have an n and we have a p, okay? Then the mean of x, now notice I wrote a little x down here. This x is because this is binomial. All right, for binomial is n times p. There's our first formula that we have to learn today. N times P. We've done simple versions of this. If you flip a coin, what's the probability that you get a heads? 0.5, right? 0.50. If I flip a coin 10 times, n is 10, right? How many heads do I expect to get? 5. Now, am I going to get 5? Probably not. I might get more than 5, less than 5. But I expect that if I flip the coin, if I did 10 and I keep doing that in the long run, I'm going to get about an average of 5 as my outcome. Sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more, but the average will be 5 heads. I did that by multiplying 10 times 0.5. If I flip the coin 9 times, my expected number of heads would be 4.5. But it's okay. We can get an expected value as a decimal because it says, again, it's in the long run. So this is the expected number, the expected successes in the long run. And remember, it can be a decimal. That's review. It has to be something somewhere between 0 and n. It cannot be bigger. So exactly, you can't have a number bigger than how many times you tried it. All right. Next, standard deviation. The symbol, if you recall, the symbol for standard deviation is a what? Does anybody recall what we use for the symbol for standard deviation? It's sigma, which is an O. O right here. The standard deviation is the standard deviation is the typical distance the values are from the mean. Okay? And the standard deviation of the binomial distribution, here's our formula. It's the square root of n times p times 1 minus p. This is our formula. You have to multiply by the number of failures. There's a longer explanation about why this formula is true and what it is. But sometimes you'll see the formula written as NPQ. So the probability of successes times the probability of failures. And again, there is a longer explanation about it. It is not AP. I'm not going to get into the more. I could derive both of these formulas. It comes from the fact that we're using this NP. And in order to get it, you have to plus or minus to get the standard deviations using the formula that we learned back in like October. You can derive the formula from this, and it'll give you this. We don't want to do that. All right, let's look at an example. We'll use the problem from our do now. Okay? We're going to use the problem for our do now. So, the probability a person subscribes to the quotation mark 5-second rule. I'm using that just a little lower down version, is 20%. We sample, was it 12? 15 random people. A, Describe the distribution. All right, so what type of distribution is this? This is Jay, straight up lifted from the note from our do now. What type of distribution are we talking about here? And it's the only real distribution that you're doing right now this whole time. Binomial. So this is binomial. So x follows, I'm adding that new notation right there. Binomial, where n equals 15 and p equals 0.20, 0.2, 0.20. Okay? So, this is review. This is exactly what we just did in the beginning of our do now. Now, here's the new question. Find and interpret the mean. Find and interpret the mean. Okay? So, what's my formula for the mean? Well, yeah, it's n times p. I'm just going to, for the purposes of notes, I'm going to write it down. So it's 15 times 0.2, which gives me 3. So the mean is 3. So let's interpret this. We expect an average of 3 people to subscribe to the rule. So how many average? So if I sample 15 students, how many do I expect to find that's going to use the 5-second rule? 3. I think out of the 15, I expect 3. So if I sample 15, I expect on average to get 3. Now, will I get 3? Probably not, but I should get around close to 3. I should expect close to 3. So if I get 10 people, is 10 close to 3? No. So I would be, as we're going to learn in the next unit, we're going to start to question certain things like, whoa, what is unusual? So at what point do I get enough responses that I go, wait a minute, something doesn't seem right? And that's basically what we're going to be doing for the rest of this course. We're going to start to learn about how many observations in a sample that we get before we start questioning the results. Not the math of the results, but maybe something's off. Maybe this school or this class is a little bit off. For example, if I had 10 people getting the 5-second rule, I'd probably say, there's something bad going on at home, or there's something in hygiene or something, because that's a lot. I would expect only 3 people that will pick up food off the floor and start eating it. But if I got 10 out of the 15, I'd probably say, whoa, something's different at this school. C, last part. Find and interpret the standard deviation. Oh, sorry, little X right here, sorry. Deviation. All right, so the standard deviation, and I'm going to put a little X here because we're saying the binomial. I'm going to write the formula down. Square root of n times p times 1 minus p. So I'm going to replace these numbers. What do we have? So what is n? Square root of? What is n? 15 times p. What is p? 0.2 times 1 minus 0.2. Now I could also write what is 1 minus 0.2. All right, don't do it. 1 minus 0.2. Okay, well it's 0.8. But you can leave it, you could just write 0.8. I feel sometimes that's easier. So 1 minus 0.2. And I'm going to go to my calculator. Square root of 15 times 0.2 times parentheses 1 minus 0.2, and I get 1.55. We'll round it, 1.55. Okay? Or 1.549. I always say 3 decimal. 1.549. So I get 1.549. So let's interpret it. The typical distance from the mean is 1.549 subscribers. And that is it. So we have two formulas. N times P for the mean, and it's just our verbal explanation of what that is. And then our standard deviation formula, square root of NP, 1 minus P, and our interpretation of it. Those are the two things. These are the last two things that you have to be able to find. So basically what we did in today's Do Now, I'm going to give you another one of these tomorrow. And I'm going to add these two new questions in there. So I'm going to start. You're going to first describe the distribution just like you did in the beginning of this one. The next slide is going to be a find and interpret the mean, a find and interpret the standard deviation, and then I'm going to give you a table just like you did in today's Do Now with the new question. It'll be a different scenario. We're going to work through that. Once you have shown us that you can do it, then you'll go to move to the homework assignment. That'll be it. That'll be your last homework assignment of this unit. We are looking to do the assessment at the end of the week. Since there's no early college, we can do it on Friday, which means it will give you an extra day of review. Myself and Ms. Page, we're actually talking about giving it to you on Thursday, a quicker turnaround, but since it's not Friday, seems like to be the best day. So everything basically that we've been doing on your Do Nows, all right, in our practice and our homework is going to be what's on your exam. So if you're knocking out the table problems, or if you've been really focused and practicing the problems that we've been doing, especially today's Do Now, you should be perfectly fine. If you can do tomorrow's Do Now, it's almost like a practice quiz. And you should feel very comfortable with it. You get a lot of practice, and that's what we have.